So, James Bond is back again. We're a couple of days away from the release of the highly anticipated Spectre. Sam Mendes returns to direct, fresh off the heels of Skyfall, which is very well critically received and was the most financially successful Bond movie of all time. So with any highly anticipated movie, the expectations are raised greatly. Does Spectre live up to the hype? And with that, I welcome you to another episode of The Real Mentor, where my goal is always to enhance your movie watching experience. Of course, Daniel Craig comes back for the fourth time playing everyone's favorite British spy. Now, right off the bat, let me just say that he has been my favorite Bond. Out of all the Bonds, I love the reinvention of him when they introduced him in Casino Royale, edgier, raw, much darker, and I thought it really brought new life to the franchise. Now, right off the bat, let me say that Spectre is a really good movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a great action flick. However, it doesn't quite meet the level of Casino Royale or Skyfall. It's still a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not great. Now, to me, Casino Royale and Skyfall were great films. They were like Margot Robbie. And of course, when I inevitably get turned down by her, I end up with Anne Hathaway. Not a bad thing. She's not Margot Robbie, but I'm not kicking her out of bed. Granted, I'm holding on to anything I can, any sheets and all that, while she's kicking me out of bed, but I digress. So ultimately, Spectre is like Anne Hathaway. That's not bad. On this Bond, of course, we have Daniel Craig investigating or trying to solve the mystery of Spectre, which is this secret organization, pretty much the man behind the man of it all, if you will. They're the ones responsible for virtually all his pain that we've seen in the previous 3 Bond movies. So it does a really good job of bringing everything together. Now, of course, there's a link that ties him between himself and Spectre, the organization, particularly the head of the organization, which Skyfall started, giving you some of James Bond's past. Some of that gets resurfaced here, which is very intriguing. Now, what Spectre does really well is it gives us the things that we've known and grown to love out of a Bond film. We got great action. Sam Mendes does a great job with the cinematography here. Some great action pieces, particularly the very first one. We introduced to Bond again in Mexico City. Fantastically shot sequence. We get some of the gadgets, we get the cars, Q, M, they all come back. It's some of the same stuff that we've seen before, which is a very, very good thing. Now, of course, you can't talk about a Bond film without mentioning the girls and the villains. Now, the girls, of course, we have 2 of them this time, sort of. We got Monica Bellucci, who is 51, 52 years old, and she looks fantastic. She is MILF-tacular. Unfortunately, she's not in the movie for very long. I wish she actually would have been the Bond girl. Now, Léa Seydoux, who plays the true Bond girl, she's okay. She's a great looking woman, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't have that sex appeal that we're used to seeing out of the Bond girls. That aside, she's also not a great heroine. She's given some things to do, but she's mainly just kind of wallpaper, sits back there, doesn't do a whole much. She's okay, don't get me wrong, but she's not a true Bond girl. And the villains, much like the Bond girls, is kind of hit and miss. We also get 2 of them. We got Dave Bautista, of course. We saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's kind of wasted here. He's basically your modern day henchman. He's odd job except without the hat and all the fat. Now, he is physically imposing and a great physical match for James Bond, but honestly, he's not in the movie for that long, and he says like 1 line the entire movie. Now, Christoph Waltz, of course, who I loved in Django and in Inglourious Basterds. He won Oscars for both those roles. He's fantastic in it. He's good in this movie for when he's actually shown in the movie. The first half, you see him in the shadows for the most part. He's primarily featured in the 3rd act, and it's kind of wasted. He's really good when he's on screen. He can be a good villain, but he's not given enough to do, not enough screen time. And that's one of the biggest problems with the movie, is that the story is a little clunky and the characters are underused. But on a positive note, this has a 2.5-hour running time, but it does not feel that long. It's a long movie, but it's very well paced. It slows down every so often, but the action keeps on coming throughout. Sam Mendes does a really good job. I just wish he had done a better job with the narrative of the story itself. But all that being said, don't get me wrong, this is a movie you guys should definitely go watch. If you're a Bond fan, you like Daniel Craig, absolutely go watch it. This is a very entertaining movie. It's a lot of fun at the theaters. It's worth your time and money, I promise that. So when you do go see this movie, just curb the expectations a little bit. This is not Skyfall, this is not Casino Royale. It's better than Quantum of Solace, which I still kind of enjoyed, but I know that's the weakest out of the 4. But you're gonna like this movie, trust me on that. You're gonna have a good time. The audience really enjoyed it at the premiere I attended. Now, as always, be sure to comment below if you have seen it. Did you enjoy the movie at all? I do have a couple posters to give away. I got this one in particular and another one as well. I have several of them. If you're interested in it, hit me up on my Twitter account at @TheRealMentor, or you can email me at TheRealMentor@gmail.com. I'll be more happy to mail out these posters to you. And of course, as always, whether you like the review, don't like the review, was it helpful? Subscribe anyway, feed my need to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. I'll see you guys next time.